Yeah. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Crime News
2020, episode 238. And today, lack of knowledge. And I didn't start the fire, but I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gons. Welcome to another live streamed episode of Canary Cry News Talk, where I am just in regret because we didn't invest in the Canary Network Kusama. Basil, it was $4 when I showed it to you. It's $50 now. I missed out on an opportunity.
Yeah, one of the great Schadenfreude experiences I have in life is hearing you express regret over not jumping into some obscure cryptocurrency that I'd never heard of, and learning how you missed yet another chance to become a millionaire.
Oh, well, maybe not a millionaire, but certainly not as poor as I am now. But anyway, there's people in the chat telling us how they bought at $5. You don't believe them.
York got in. York, you've blown your cover, man. Now you have to make a donation to the show.
I think the same thing happened way before. York always tells us how he bought in early on any crypto we mention. It's
York,
a thing he does.
Hit us up, man. We need your investment advice. Send us an email, canarycryradio@gmail.com. Give us your next pick, York. We need to know. Yeah. We need an exit strategy. Okay. Well, Gonzo, any news? Any new things going on in your life?
Nope, not really.
Nothing worth talking about.
No.
Yeah, me neither. It's been an uneventful couple of days. I got nothing else except for I'm stalling in order to get the correct link to the Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, it's your favorite time of day, and that's the Flippy update. If this is your first time watching the show, don't worry, I'll help you out. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arm that is taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We talk about Flippy not just to talk about Flippy, but to talk about robotics and AI, how they are invading our everyday lives, whether we like it or not. Now, Gons, today, as happens fairly often, this is not a Flippy update proper.
Right. You switched it up on me.
This is more of a Robot Jocks update. Now, if you're a longtime listener, you know Robot Jocks is the best movie ever made. It was made in the 80s. My favorite movie as a child, and now into my young adulthood. Robot Jocks, a world where instead of war, nation states battle 1v1 giant robots, and we get to watch how Russia and the United States had to 1v1 each other over possession of Alaska. But that's for another show. This is a Robot Jocks update, Gons. As we move into the future, not only are we trying to see how robots are going to take our job. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, this is from themindunleashed.com. Usually the type of thing one would, oh my gosh, would encounter in a science fiction movie, whether it's the low-budget classic Robot Jocks or the American kaiju blockbuster Pacific Rim. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that it mentioned Robot Jocks in the article. However, engineering firm Furion Exobionics has unleashed a colossal 4-legged 9,000-pound powered exoskeleton dubbed Prosthesis. And anyone interested will be able to take up the controls and pilot the beast. Oh, I'm thinking some boots on the ground reporting, Gons. I think we finally found my next project.
We need to interview these people and then get your way in, and then
I think we can do that. I think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
The company recently launched a wildly popular Kickstarter campaign laying out its mission, which is to start a global racing league that would pit multiple world-class athletes in head-to-head competitions through complex technical obstacle courses wearing giant powered mech suits. Gons, this is the moment I've been waiting for. And while the vision may seem larger than life, Furion and its prosthesis mech racing research and development team are confident that they can unleash this new class of large-scale exobionic technology and use it to power its global mech racing league. Backers of the Kickstarter campaign will be eligible to receive one-on-one mech pilot training or kick back and watch the mechs kick each other's butts at live events. The company's flagship mech, dubbed Prosthesis, the anti-robot, took over 3 years of field trials, including engineering and pilot training, to create this all-terrain mech suit that has 4 massive legs and the power to lift cars, run through snow, and climb boulders. Quote, we ended up with 4 legs because the pilot has 4 limbs. And the machine has the wide, stable form factor that it has so that it's easy to balance. Chief test pilot and project co-founder and personal hero of mine, Jonathan Tippett, told CNET. In a video kicking off the successful crowdfunding campaign, Tippett notes that the mech is, quote, basically a cross between a trophy truck, an excavator, and a dinosaur. How could it get better, Gons? I don't think it can. However, the idea behind Prosthesis isn't simply passive entertainment. Instead, this will require athleticism on the part of the mech pilots who will be moving their arms and legs to get these massive machines going, making this a true sport rather than a simple robot exhibition. Prosthesis has no joysticks, no steering wheel, no foot pedals, just 100% limb-for-limb pilot control. Furion explained, quote, Prosthesis has no automation, no gyros, no ability to walk or balance by itself. It relies entirely on the pilot inside for all of its movement. Your arm and leg movements are amplified to control its 4 giant steel legs, move for move. That's what makes it a sport. Cassie Harish, an accomplished head-first ice sledding champion from Canada. Whoa, where are we going? They're really zagging on it, serious. The first professional mech sports athlete to control the hulking quadrupedal beast. According to the Furion, she was just as surprised as the engineers when she felt a sense of familiarity between her 60-pound skeleton sled and the interface of this 9,000-pound mech suit. With the relentless and unchecked automation of everything we do, Prosthesis reminds us that some of the most rewarding things in life are those that require effort, focus, and training. Wow, they are just on our page. The Kickstarter page said, this is the very essence of sport. Prosthesis and mech sports are a celebration of the age-old pursuit of physical mastery and human skill, now brought to a new level through advanced technology. Gons, I think I have finally found a life goal that I can devote myself to.
Fantastic.
Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah, we need to listen, all you Canarians out there, not only can you make your favorite podcaster's dreams come true, but you too can become taking resumes. Hit me up. We'll make this happen.
Yeah, this thing's pretty intense. It's pulling fire trucks. It's smashing cars. I mean, it's they got T-shirts.
It is cool. Did you play the video?
I did. I was playing the video the whole time.
Okay, yeah. It is really cool. And for those who are just listening, it looks like a big 4-legged spider machine, probably about 25 feet tall. And just so cool to watch this thing go. Make sure to check out canarycrynewstalk.com to check out the show notes and watch this video. Very important just for your life fulfillment.
It's interesting because you think spider, it kind of moves like a spider, but the face part of it looks more like a mastodon. It's got like the 2 horns, kind of got like an elephant look. Without the nose.
Yeah, it does have kind of an elephant look to it. It's like a mix between an elephant, a gorilla, and a spider.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Your dreams are coming true. Fantastic.
It's got 2 tusks in the front.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So cool, man. I got to look into this. I'm serious about this. If there's one thing I can really look forward to in life, it's becoming a mech athlete.
Okay.
I used to think
whole nother level. Yep. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
we are going to move into a bunch of quick updates. With this kind of thing going public, with like prosthesis going public, I get the feeling that there are already some pretty phenomenal technologies. But we got a couple updates here to talk about some of these things here.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified. You don't know what you're looking at. Aliens. It's unidentified.
I forgot that was like the
double.
old version that it doubled. Yeah, I forgot to edit that. Okay, anyway, this is CNN.com via MSN.com. This was reported last night. A man flying a jetpack was reported by pilots above Los Angeles. As usual, call came into the LA airport concerning an unidentified... An unusual call came into the Los Angeles airport concerning an unidentified man flying a jetpack. I read as usual, as if this happened. At the plane's altitude of 3,000 feet above LA International Airport on Sunday, they said that the man was approximately 30 yards away from the aircraft. That's pretty close.
That's very close.
Super close. Now the FBI is looking into the matter. CNN obtained the audio between air traffic control and the Federal Aviation Administration said officials have alerted local law enforcement to the reports and is looking into these reports working to determine what occurred. Los Angeles Field Office spokesperson Laura A. Miller told CNN. What occurred was a guy in a jetpack was flying. This is the kind of headline that you hear or see in like superhero movies. Around. Yeah. Look at the news.
Sure that's exactly what happened in Iron Man.
That's what I'm saying. But so you got your mech suit, but these guys are flying in jetpacks already. So maybe I'll aspire for the jetpack. Yeah, I'll aspire for the jetpack, and we'll have war. I'll be flying around you like a fly.
Team. What a great team we would be. Fighting the New World Order in our comic book. Mm-hmm. I'm checking out the lessons.
Doesn't look cheap.
So the lessons to get my own training, it'll be $2,500.
Oh,
and but they're only doing 8 of them. There's 6 left of the 8 available. If you're in those 8 people, you're first in line to pilot the next, that's how you do it. That's how you get into it. You'll be one of 8 people trained in mecha athleticism. I think this is really possible. Okay, so $2,500 for one training, $8,000. Okay, that's for the group package. You get 4 people who can get trained. But that's already. Oh no, those are still there. $13,000, Gonzo. Oh. And I can get a 3-day pilot boot camp. Want to take your training to the next level? Join us for 3 full days of training. We'll put you through the same program that we put Team Canada skeleton racer Cassie Harish and YouTube maker James the Hacksmith Hobson. What the heck? They probably got it for free. I could do it for free. Here's okay.
Say, hey, we're YouTubers too. Highly throttled YouTubers.
I don't know. We've made a pledge against advertising, but I would have to consider, with the permission of our producers, I would beg the permission of our producers that I could sell out for this 3-day pilot boot camp, and I will give them $13,000 worth of advertising.
Okay.
I think that's.
Are you gonna tape it?
Cooler because I'll be the only mecha.
We would have been able to pay for this thing, but once again, you didn't encourage me when I told you, "Hey, check this out, this Canary Network."
See, the problem is I don't know which ones to encourage you on, because I feel like if I encourage you on the wrong thing and you lose a bunch of money, that's on me, man.
It is on you. All right. Anyway, let's move on here. We have we're
$13,000, people.
Only 13,000. We have
13.
Speaking. You like that one? That's actually 2 put together.
Real quick, people are asking for our email address, which excites me after I make a big request like that. But our email address.
Quick update on Acon City. If you're unaware, we've talked about this project by Acon. I did a deep dive on the Face Like the Sun channel a couple months ago, I think. But basically, they are, I think it's in Senegal. Akon, the artist, the rapper, musician, whatever, he is building this futuristic city that was inspired by Wakanda, basically. A real life Wakanda is what he's calling it. And they laid the cornerstone, so they're getting ready to start building this thing. And the video here talks about a real life Wakanda. That they have a visual of what it looks like. It's all futuristic looking, and I don't know. It's and also the future of how African society should become in the future. And he already has secured $2 billion for the project, and Black Panther hit the theaters. And it just inspired him to, the design and everything to make this thing happen. And it also has a little clip of Chadwick Boseman talking about the project. So another Afro and part of, I think, eschatological passages eschatological passages in the Bible talking about Africa, or at least Egypt, having some kind of military power. I think this is the beginning of a really interesting century of African development with technology. But, just a quick update because they laid the cornerstone, got to make a big deal about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, they're making progress.
Why can't we, you have futuristic visions. How come we can't raise like $2 billion to like build a city?
I bet once the once the Mecca athleticism movement gets in full swing, I bet there'll be like a World Cup at Wakanda.
Yeah. We're getting told that we're buffering again a lot, and people are saying we must have the worst internet. We have business. I mean, this is business level internet that we have here. Yeah. So I don't know.
We pay a lot for good connections, and Gons is hardwired in now. Just a thing for people to understand, just because something's buffering doesn't always mean it's the streamer's fault. There's a lot of layers of control between the streamer and you. So, I don't know what to say. We've continued to make improvements. I can't imagine that it's our fault, but it might be. But YouTube, historically has done a lot of things to keep people like us down. So that's why I keep saying, if the YouTube isn't working, try the Twitch. If the Twitch isn't working, I have the Twitch running on mine right now, and I have not had any buffering. But there you go.
Also, YouTube, it's showing like 1/4 or 1/5 of what we usually have in the stream. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the listener numbers are about at 20% as what they usually are. So I have a feeling there's some sort of shadow banning or throttling that's going on there.
They don't like us. Yeah, because our bit rate is pretty high. But anyway, there you go. That's the Wakanda Forever update. Another quick update here.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Launches official Animal Crossing New Horizons yard signs.
That's funny.
Yeah, so starting today, September 1st, which was yesterday, Animal Crossing New Horizons players will be able to deck out their island homes with official Joe Biden yard signs as part of the campaign's broader initiative to organize voters online this fall. Obviously, the real Joe Biden is struggling to speak, so get virtual Joe Biden in there, especially campaigning.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Animal Crossing New Horizons was a game that came out at the very beginning of quarantine that saved a lot of sanity for gamers. But if you don't know, you basically are just a little person, and you develop an island, and a deserted island, and you just sort of develop it by building and exploiting its resources and the monetizing the real estate. It's actually a really capitalistic sort of game where you develop, you invade an island and then industrialize it for your own pleasure. So I think it's funny that, a bunch of eco people and anti-imperialist type people just love this game, because the whole game is based around colonizing an island that doesn't belong to you.
Sorry, I'm
Back and I'm little.
Yeah, it's just things happen. And so, but Streamlabs OBS is, I don't know what the deal is. Every time I move something or try to fix something, there's like a 3-second delay for anything I do with sizing. So you were kind of floating around and yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Always
That's fun. Add some excitement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, speaking of Joe, there was a couple things going on in the past week or so that I thought would be funny just to lay out in sequence. Do you have all those clips together? Oh, no, you have one more update.
I do have one more, but we can push it afterwards because it kind of flows. It'll flow better with the other.
I didn't think. You want to start with those clips?
Yeah. So you want to start? I thought we were starting with Pelosi. Are we starting with Joe, or are we starting with?
I'll start out with Pelosi.
Okay.
So basically, Pelosi got in trouble recently. I'm not going to read the article because it's not really worth it. But basically what happens is in San Francisco, they're, of course, a very blue city, and businesses are shut down and the entire city is going out of business. It talks about how, half the storefronts on any given street are either boarded up or gone out of business. A very sad thing going on. Salons are shut down whenever they shut everything down. And so salon owners really have been getting a lot of attention throughout the whole pandemic. Of course, there was the special appointment. And but if you're Pelosi, you're allowed to get your private salon visit. And which brings me into Pelosi.
I'll play the clip here.
Since you asked about
just play
that,
the clip.
I myself just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates.
So no debates.
No debates. And she's talking
Pelosi.
about, the clip goes on, but we're keeping it short. The clip goes on where she's talking about how she does not believe there should be any presidential debates. And her main reason is debate his opponent in the race. But as we all know, that she's trying to get that is like if he had to perform in person.
I feel bad for the guy.
He just is. And this was not a passing comment. This was not some, little moment where he got caught off guard. Speech. He's trying to rally the Democrats for this election, and that's just what came out.
There are some theories out there on the fringes that either Joe Biden is no longer with us and they're just all CGI or like a deep fake. They're deep faking him.
Yeah.
And it's possible, because he didn't show up for the debates. You can see not the debates, the DNC rally thing that they had a couple weeks ago. And even like the editing of that was very strange too. But, and then yesterday or a couple days ago, Trump mentioned in passing, and this is more for like QAnon fans, right? I'm not saying that there's anything to it. Trump said something weird. He mentioned in passing, he was like, Joe doesn't even know he's alive. And I was like, well, it's kind of, it's probably just a jab.
Weird comment.
But it's definitely a weird comment. Like, what do you, okay. But anyway, so there you go. Joe Biden, hairy legs, doing his thing. You can buy his, or you can promote him on Animal Crossings, and also he makes more sense in Animal Crossing than he does in real life. Is basically the takeaway here.
He looks very young and vibrant in Animal Crossing. And of course, when coming from the left, you hear pulled by Donald Trump, what would be less improving? That is the epitome of destroying.
Of course, the Ronas. This is from KUSI.com. San Diego's more local news station. And CDC report Monday, San Diego County Public Health Officer Dr. County were in people without any underlying, less in San Diego County, 4%. And if you take into account various regions, I'm sure that number goes down even more. So, looks like we lost feed.
Yeah, that's not good.
More buffering, crazy.
Buffering. Well, I guess we'll just have to keep working on it.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, Gons, because I have some good news for you.
Oh, good news. That's good.
Good
What?
news. We are sitting at number 1 on the talk shows and podcast category on Twitch.
All right. Keep chatting,
there you
folks.
go. We have no control over that. That's all because of you, dear listeners, technologically. But
yeah,
it's fun. We made it to number 1.
Yeah, they don't like us today. Okay, we'll get into this story. Basil, you can go for it here because it's pretty egregious.
Woman arrested. What?
I thought you were going to do this one.
Hello?
Yeah, I thought you were doing the
Which
one before. The fact check by PolitiFact.
I thought that's the one you just did.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Here we go. We're coming. Well, okay. Yes. PolitiFact. One of our favorite things to do is fact check impotent they are at fact checking and making points. So let's do another one. That was fun. We're over here at politifact.com. And the article is titled, "No, the CDC did not, quote, quietly adjust U.S. coronavirus deaths. Claimed COVID-19 deaths are not as high as previously thought." Oh, interesting. The Post's claimed that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its COVID-19 death numbers to show that only 9,210 Americans have died from the virus. Twitter removed the first tweet for violating its rules. Another post from Jenna Ellis, a senior legal advisor for the Trump campaign, linked to a story from the Gateway Pundit, a conservative news site. That tweet was still up as of publication. The tweets misconstrue federal data on COVID-19 victims. As of August 31st, the CDC reported that 182,600 Americans have died since the start of the pandemic. Doesn't say died of COVID, doesn't say anything like that, just says they have died since February. And some estimates put the death toll even higher. The agency told us that the vast majority of deaths involving COVID-19 can be attributed to the virus. Claims that the CDC, according to VineSight, an organization that uses backpedaled quietly and adjusted that, this is a quote from a Facebook post, and adjusted the U.S. COVID deaths from 153,504 to 9,210, said Amiri King, a social media influencer and CBD salesman, in an August that they were off by a whopping 94%. Information on its news feed. The social media post traced back to an August 26th update from the National Center for Health Statistics, which is part of the CDC. The report is updated every Wednesday and outlines provisional death counts for COVID-19 in influenza. In a section titled Comorbidities, the NCHS wrote, quote, "For 6% of the deaths, COVID-19 was the only cause of here's where the fact check begins. In medicine, comorbidities are conditions that patients experience in tandem with a primary condition. According to the CDC, people with pre-existing conditions like cancer and diabetes are more at risk of death if they contract the coronavirus." No kidding. The NCHS report shows that the vast majority of coronavirus-related deaths occur in patients with comorbidities. But that doesn't mean COVID-19 wasn't a factor. No kidding. Nobody's saying that it wasn't a factor. PolitiFact, but they had no comorbidities, or they were just not noted. Okay, said Dr. Myron Cohen, director of the Institute for Global Health and Infectious Diseases at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Quote, "However, it is also clear that advanced age and several other underlying diseases lead to bad outcomes with COVID infections. The people dying were not going to die, but for the acquisition of..."
Dr. Cohen said it, so must be true.
Yeah.
Good fact check. Keep going.
In a Facebook post addressing claims about the NCHS report, Dr. Mark Halstead, an associate professor of orthopedic surgery and pediatrics at Washington University, broke down how conditions are listed on a patient's death certificate. Quote, "So let's say someone was admitted to the hospital because of symptoms of COVID. They tested positive." That said in the post, quote, "Their case progressed where they developed respiratory failure and now are on a ventilator. Later, respiratory COVID-19. Jeff Lancashire, acting associate director, death certificates that mention COVID-19 also, quote, "The underlying cause of 2% of all deaths that mention COVID-19. COVID-19 is listed as the underlying cause of death. We reached out to King for a comment, and you reached out, CDC decreased the number of COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. from 153,504 to 9,210. That's wrong. As of August 31st, the CDC counted 182,622 Americans who had died because of the coronavirus. A NCHS report found that for about
our ruling and so lower or of an older version, therefore inaccurate virus or COVID-19 baseline here, 6% is anything worth.
Justin. Well, they put, base it all Army, who are very fringy conspiracy people are need your complete, weak arguments, but as long as it approves their bias, confirms their bias, they'll take it as fact check.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think, again, to reiterate the point, the quote from Dr. Mark Halstead, Associate Professor of Orthopedic Surgery and Pediatrics at Washington University. How the way he broke down how a death certificate is recorded is what I question. Is the part that's kind of like that doesn't make any sense, because again, if they're preconditions, okay, that's one thing. All right, you had you're diabetic, you get COVID-19, things get worse, and you die. All right. Fine. Or if you have some kind of, pneumonia or something. But then again, I think the main point here, and if anybody of your normie friends brings up this article or tries to refute you with this thing, then really try to figure out and ask them, okay, how did the 6% die? How is it that COVID-19 is the only thing listed as the cause of death for the 6%? What happened? They tested positive and they dropped dead, and so anyway,
with no heart failure,
no lung failure, nothing. They just dropped dead. So there you go. That's kind of the ridiculous nature of PolitiFact. PolitiFact not very factual. They
are the worst.
Yeah, they're definitely politicized, but not factual. Okay, moving on here. We got one more COVID thing, and then we'll take a quick break here. This one's a little more alarming, I would say.
COVID.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Gizmodo.com. Woman arrested for Facebook post promoting anti-lockdown protest in Australia. Here we go. Police in Australia arrested a 28-year-old woman, who was pregnant, by the way, on Wednesday for publishing a Facebook post that promoted an anti-lockdown protest in the country's state of Victoria. Footage of the arrest was captured by her partner and shows police officers handcuffing the woman and saying that she's been charged with incitement. The woman's phone and computers were also seized. The video, which was live streamed on Facebook, has gone viral and shows the police eventually taking possession of the phone that was broadcasting the encounter. Over 2 million people have watched the video so far. Quote, it's in relation to the Facebook post, in relation to the lockdown protest you put on just that day, Detective Adrian Smith with the Victorian Police told the woman as she was handcuffed in her home. Quote, I wasn't breaking any laws by doing that, the woman said, explaining that she had an ultrasound scheduled for an hour because she's pregnant. Quote, you are breaking the law, Smith responded. Agent Smith responded. That's why I'm arresting you. And then there's the video there. The woman and her partner, who reportedly live in the city of Ballarat, according to Australia's ABC News, can be heard on the video offering to take the Facebook post down. But the detective insists that she needs to be arrested because she, quote, already committed the offense. The arrest appears to have involved at least 4 officers. Quote, I'm happy to delete the post. This is ridiculous, the woman said, pleading with the cops and noting that her 2 children are watching her get arrested. Victoria, which includes the city of Melbourne, has been under strict lockdown measures for the past month after the COVID-19 outbreak, causing an alarming spike in deaths, which again is questioned. Police in Australia have arrested numerous people who've tried to stage protests against the lockdown. First tells us wrong. This is ridiculous, the woman says. The woman can be seen getting very distressed as it becomes clear that she's being taken into custody, and the detective barks, "Let me finish," as he explains what the arrest warrant allows him to take. "Any mobile telephone you've got, okay," Smith says before the police turn their attention to the phone that's broadcasting on Facebook. The Victoria Police Department issued a statement to Australia's ABC News saying that any gathering of this nature is in blatant breach of the Chief Health Officer's directions and puts Victorian lives at risk. Quote, "Those still thinking of attending the protest can expect a swift and firm response from police," the statement continues. "We will have no hesitation in issuing a $1,652 fine to anyone who is breaching the restrictions on the day or making arrests if necessary." With Victorian doesn't have anything equivalent to America's First Amendment protections for free speech. And even though it's clear lockdowns are sometimes necessary to defeat this global pandemic, it's hard than they already are. Okay, Gizmodo.
Totally. That's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but I just like how they just paint, Anyway, far-right goons on Rupert Murdoch's TV station, Sky News Australia, far-right goons have been... So there you go. I mean, we watched the video here, and it's quite insane.
Why don't we play the video? I think we should play it.
Okay.
So I have no idea why you guys...
Oh, video unavailable. Sorry, this video cannot be... They're taking this video down all over social media.
Wait. Refresh the page. Refresh
Oh, it's gone.
They
Trust
couldn't
me.
have It's been 20 minutes since we watched it last.
No, they are all over. I know Twitter accounts have been taking this video down all day long.
Okay,
So,
we need to look for it, though, because we need
yeah,
to
I'll look
play
for it. Let me see if I can...
Yeah, look for it, because we need to play it, and if nothing else, the recording of this video can have the video
it's
in
not,
it.
Oh, here it is. Okay, maybe it is going to work.
I have no idea why you guys are doing this.
it's
Yeah,
working.
you can show me your search warrant.
Search warrant.
Search warrant for what?
Now, what I will explain to you is if you want to listen, you got your phone going.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Right. Now, you're under arrest in relation to incitement.
Incitement?
Yeah. Now, you're not obliged to say or do anything, but anything you say or do may be given evidence.
Excuse me, incitement for what? What on earth? Yeah. Excuse me, what on earth?
Just put your phone down.
Can you record
to...
this? I'm in my pajamas.
What's this?
I had an ultrasound in an hour.
Yeah, she's pregnant, so...
I'll take it easy.
What's this about?
But I have an ultrasound.
Just let me finish.
And I wasn't breaking any laws by doing chill. That's
You're
fine.
not-
Like, I'm happy to
not
delete
advised to
the
say
post.
do
This is
anything.
ridiculous. Like,
Anything
this
you
is
say
in front of
do
me. That's
may be
fine.
giving evidence. You understand that?
Yeah, that's fine. But my 2 kids are here. I have an ultrasound in an hour. Like,
Petitioner. You understand those rights?
yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a bit unfair. Come on, mate.
No,
What about she just doesn't do the event? Like, it's not like she's done...
The audio gets a little muffled here towards the end of the video. Here, but
Just for a second, it comes back.
This is a lot of stress.
Mobile telephone you've got, okay? So what we want is any mobile telephone you've got.
You're gonna need that.
and then this is when the...
Yeah, it's her sister.
Doesn't matter. Any device in this house we're taking.
This is
Well,
ridiculous.
you're not taking my phone.
Well,
I'm taking any device, mate.
Any
That's
device.
my phone. It's nothing to do with her. It's my phone.
Yeah, so pretty bad.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has different free speech laws than the U.S. does. Posting about a protest is explicitly political free speech. Now they're trying to get her for the incitement charges because, anything encouraging. And of course, that nobody is, nobody posting about, a Black Lives Matter politically targeted. And just an incredible breach. Now, again, as far as the law is concerned, they have different situation over in Australia than America. We haven't seen this particular thing happen in the United States, but I can't imagine it's that far off. I've heard a lot of people saying like, the United States is going to be sketchy, man. It's breaking out in civil war. There's going to be federal martial law and civil war and all this horrible stuff. We need to get out of America for a little while. But, Australia and not that New Australia or Ireland or something. But the fact of the matter is that that's probably not much better of a choice than just sticking right here in the United States.
Yeah, especially if you can have guns, to protect yourself.
Well, right, and Australia famously.
Yeah. Well, we can sum up this story as this right here.
I will.
Oh, it's a new world order. It's here.
It does have a delightful sort of sheen on it because of the Australian accent.
The Australian accent makes it less.
Come on, mate.
Yeah, come on, mate.
This is ridiculous. Don't take her.
And even Agent Smith there doesn't seem as, mean.
Yeah, you can tell this is not an American cop.
No.
Because unfortunately, that pregnant woman would probably be on the ground and handcuffed with a knee on her neck or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, political.
It was super political.
Podcast, but also Aussie live watchers, live viewers. So
yeah.
Stay safe down there, and
don't
keep your apparently now. Yeah, you got to keep your Facebook feed clean, baby.
Well, this is partly why the exodus from places like Facebook. This is a good reason to get off Facebook. It'll take the government a little while to catch up to other.
Community is our off Facebook social media forum creation for listeners of the podcast. And so far, nobody in canarycry.community has been arrested for something they've posted. So I think we got a pretty good track record so far.
We'd like to
That's
keep it that way.
something that Facebook cannot say.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Let's take a quick break here, and then we got a couple more stories to go.
Okay.
Break. Here we go.
It's break time. And other people involved with the show, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we got some updates on the race wars, the LAPD shooting. We've got an update on Amazon hiring spies. And then I haven't quite decided. We'll see what the time looks like. We might be talking a little bit about SB 145 in California, which is a big deal that we need to talk about as well.
There we go.
Oh, great way to make sure that you get to see the show without all of the YouTube shenanigans going on. But our new followers are CDK 151.
All right.
Jesus Chickadee 73.
Chicka.
Chicka what? Hong Kong. Okay, what? Hong Kong Fooey. I wonder if they're an actual Hong Konger. That'd be interesting.
Careful in Hong Kong.
Oh, look. We've got a new listener named Titus Frost.
All right.
Mr. Titus Frost following us. Thanks, Titus. We've got Your Supreme King.
Are they claiming to be the king, or... Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. We'll have to slide into their DMs. JPV Ken. Oh my gosh. You got to be quicker on these dings. We got a lot of people to get through.
Okay.
Neo D1. Very good. Debbie Pebbles.
Debbie.
Globe Humper.
Oh, interesting. Is that a flat earther?
Yes. It took me a second to say Hi-Hat Riot.
There you go.
So thank you very much to our new Twitch followers. We appreciate that very much. Next, we want to thank some of our producers.
Yes.
Now, what are you talking about, Basil? Well, we go off the value for value model. You've heard me say it before. Value for value model is the way to go, because we do not believe that collecting the trust and the attention of viewers and listeners and then turning around and selling that to corporations for our own personal gain is the right way to go. We believe that, the advertising trap is one of the biggest problems with the internet and the world today, because once you rely on advertising dollars, you got to be brand safe, brand friendly, which manipulates the things that you're allowed to say, you're allowed to talk about without fear of losing those advertising dollars. And we decided, hey, if we're going to be held accountable by anybody, it's not going to be advertisers. It's going to be our listeners. And so that's just what we decided. Not the best business move, but man, can we sleep at night. Feels good. Now, Those who gain value out of the show, if you watch the show, listen to the show, whether you've listened to 1 or 10 or 100 episodes, if you value what we do here on the show, we can only continue doing it with the support of you, dear listener. Now, it's the beginning of the month, Gons. So you know what that means. When the beginning of the month rolls around, we always inevitably lose a bunch of producers. And we understand, beginning of the month is hard. You got to pay rent. You got to pay auto bills. You got to pay your payday loans. You got to pay everybody. So we end up inevitably losing about 5 to 10 supporters at the beginning of each month. And then we got to play catch up. So if you are one of the people who has a spare, $5 for the whole month and you gain value out of what we do, consider becoming a producer. And that's right, I said producer, because if you help pay for a piece of media to be created, you're not just a donor. This is the real world, baby. You're a producer. You can put that on your LinkedIn, put it on your resume, and we will vouch for you. But hoodoo.com/CCNT. And as of the beginning of this show, Gons, unfortunately, no new producers. We are in the slump, the beginning of the month slump. And I tried to log back into our Patreon just a second ago, and it's not letting me, so that makes me very sad. And again, for patreon.com/canarycryradio, another Patreon account, also no new producers. Lost some producers there. Now, that's okay. We get it. Beginning of the month. But if you got a few bucks to jump in and become a producer, now is the time. Now is the time. You get shout outs. You get all the attention that we can possibly give you on the show. And you get to feel good about the media that you absorb. You're not, we're not turning around and turning you into a commodity. But that being said, we do need producers to come on board. Now, if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. We get a lot of people who don't like Patreon. There's a lot of good reasons for that, and that's okay. That's why we have canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And at canarycryradio.com/support, we got all sorts of other ways to become a producer. We got PayPal options. You can join for a monthly subscription, or if commitment's not your thing, you can make a donation in any amount. We've also got cryptocurrency options over there, all sorts of fun stuff. Gons, just give me the bad news.
No producers, new producers coming in.
No new producers
coming in for this episode. However,
right.
Maybe this is the changing of the guard with the entire infrastructure of the financial economic world reset system. We did get some cryptocurrency. The only support that came in was from Tristan, who sent us an email. That's why we knew it came from him. He sent us 333.333 XRP, which is a Ripple. So there you go. Thank you, Tristan.
Mega 33 donation.
Yeah. So
I think it was 333.333 XRP.
That's what I said. Yeah.
333.333.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to match that with XRP, or if you guys are really, really big whales out there, 33 Bitcoin, we'll accept that happily. Which is about a little over $300,000 at the moment. But hey,
that would be a big game changer for us, Gons.
Game changer. That would
be a life changing.
Yeah, I would actually be able to afford a home, and then you will go buy robots. So we'll see who the.
Oh, I could get my prosthetic training, 3-day training. Oh man! All right, some Bitcoin billionaire out there, you can make all of our dreams come true for just a casual 33 Bitcoin, and then we'll be put in Illuminati jail.
Yeah, we will. And also you can there's other ways you can support the show. You can send us art.
One art, please.
And or you can send us jingles. We have neither today though, so
wow, slow day.
Yeah,
not a lot of
sad day.
We don't even have jingle or artist producers.
Yeah. I think somebody Somebody in the chat, Menghan89 they sent something in. So let me refresh.
I see that. I'm looking at the. Oh yes, there we go. Hannah, there we go. We've got a live producer. Hannah coming in.
Thank you, Hannah.
33.6.
Ooh, what is
donation.
That? What is
I
that?
don't know.
Is that a secret?
It's fun. She's having fun.
Yeah.
Having fun with it. Thank you so much. There you go. Hannah, our one and only cash producer for the show. You are the best.
You're better than Hannah Montana.
Oh, yeah. We can say that with confidence.
Lots of confidence.
Thank you very much. Okie dokie. Is that all we got for this break, Guns?
Pretty much. Oh, just another quick thank you to That Night Wind for continuing to hit the timestamps there for the YouTube channel so people can skip around and find the stories and so they don't have to sit through all of it. So thank you, That Night Wind.
There you go. Thank you very much, That Night Wind. Been very consistent. We really appreciate that. Consistency with this producership is a big deal. So thank you, That Night Wind.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, let's wake on up, Gons.
Let's get my app working, and yes, let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Wake up time. I want to give a quick hello to Nova Boy in the Twitch chat. Says first time here, just checking it out. Welcome, Nova Boy. Thanks for being here. Keep in mind, don't be afraid. There's a lot of inside jokes. It, as we've been told, takes a couple episodes to really get it, but give us a chance. We'll hope we can earn your trust. All right, let's start out, Gons. There's some more news recently with the race wars.
Yeah, here we go. Jingles.
The race wars.
Race wars.
The race war.
I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
Warned us and warned us and warned us. Okay, folks. So there's always news with this. First, I'm going to bring this story from NBCNewYork.com. Article is titled "Bicycle Stop Leads to Deputies Shooting and Killing Black Man in L.A." The article reads, a black man was shot and killed by Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies after he was stopped for a traffic violation while riding a bike, then ran from police, punched one officer, and then, quote, made a motion toward a gun on the ground, authorities said. The Monday afternoon shooting death of Dijon Kizzee, I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's Kizzee, in South Los Angeles prompted a peaceful protest. Hours later, Black Lives Matter marched Tuesday evening from the scene to a sheriff's precinct station. The killing came on the heels of the police shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, that left Jacob Blake, who is also black, we have to always put that in there, paralyzed and spurred days of protests, reinvigorating the national debate on racial injustice and policing. Also Tuesday, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors voted to ask the coroner to conduct an inquest into the fatal deputy shooting of 18-year-old Andres Guardado on June 18th. Guardado was shot 5 times in the back after deputies said they saw him with a gun and he ran. Guardado's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit on Monday against the county sheriff's department and deputies involved in the shooting. Kizzee's family and friends created a small memorial for him at the shooting scene in the Westmont neighborhood, leaving flowers, balloons, and candles just feet away from first responders' discarded blue medical gloves and rolled bandages. The sheriff's department has not released Kizzee's name, but 2 relatives confirmed his identity in interviews with the Associated Press. They remembered the 29-year-old Kizzee as an energetic man with many friends and expressed anger at the shooting. Quote, "You guys take care of dogs, you don't take care of us," said Kizzee's aunt, Fletcher Fair, addressing the sheriff's department. Quote, "He was a sweet and loving young man. He had his whole life ahead of him, and he was cut short by rogue sheriffs." Kizzee's uncle, Anthony Johnson, 33, said they grew up together and were as close as brothers. Johnson said he often warned his nephew that as a black man, he had to be especially careful. Quote, "You have a target on your back just by being you," Johnson remembered telling Kizzee as recently as a few weeks ago. Quote, "He was like, yeah, all right, uncle," like he always says. A sheriff's department statement released Tuesday evening said deputies had tried to stop Kizzee for riding his bicycle in violation of vehicle codes, but he dropped his bike and ran. It didn't provide any more details about the alleged violation. The deputies momentarily lost sight of him, but when they caught up, he immediately punched one deputy in the face and dropped a jacket, causing a black semi-automatic handgun to fall to the ground, according to the statement. The shooting occurred when the man, quote, made a motion toward the gun, the statement said. Letiera Irby, 29, told the Los Angeles Times that she had stopped by her mother's house to get her hair done when Kizzy came up to her car and told her, "They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me." Kizzy offered her money to drive him away. "I didn't know who he was running from, so I told him no," she said. Irby said a short time later she saw Kivy scuffle with a deputy who backed away and then shot him. The same deputy and another fired at Kizzy after he fell to the ground, she said, adding, quote, "He had nothing in his hands." Police said the handgun was recovered and no deputies were injured. TV news helicopters showed a gun near the body. Dean said investigators had not yet interviewed witnesses or reviewed any surveillance or cell phone video. Quote, "Give us time to conduct our investigation," he said. "We'll get all the facts in this case and eventually present them." The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the largest in the nation, does not have body cameras for deputies, though that soon will change. The County Board of Supervisors on Tuesday approved Deputy Sheriff in Plumas County, said the Los Angeles, "What was your reason for feeling that he constituted a threat to surrounding her and Eve?" Oh, there you go. That's the end of the article. I can say it's easier than you think to get a violation on a bicycle. But what do you think, Gons?
Well, why weird? But the next story basically talks about how the cop that shot him was a Hispanic cop, and I mentioned this before. Maybe I hadn't on the show, but I think it's factual to say that 2/3 of the LAPD are minorities. They're either whoa, that's
what?
Weird. Did you post something?
Yes.
Did you post at Kanga Kong?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
they
good.
Asked,
well, it's just
support.
I just was startled because on the chat it's coming from FaceLikeTheSun YouTube. Yeah. So most of the 5% of the LAPD are white officers. And so the officer that shot this man, Kizzy,
just to set the record straight, this was not the LAPD. This was the sheriff's department.
The sheriff's department. Okay. But a couple things to mention here. There was a part here that talked about how Kizzy's his cousin or his uncle. His uncle told him how you have a target on your back for being black, and you know that kind of, I understand that, but that I think is part of the problem. That a lot of these African American families are telling their kids and teaching their young children too, especially with all this going on now, it's going to be a lot worse. That hey, because of the color of your skin, you are targeted, and it's not no one's teaching their kids like, hey, yeah, you might be targeted, but if you're in a situation, respect the cops or respect whatever the situation is. Or
you're certainly treading on dangerous territory, Gons. But as our resident person of color, I'll let you continue with this conversation
as a minority.
But I will say, I mean, if you're wondering, because I'm wondering too, if why did he run? I mean, you get a bike violation. I've actually gotten bike violations before. They're easier than you think to get. But the sketchy part about it is, when you immediately get off your bike and start running. And I think that is partially, I think what you're saying is that, being taught that you have a target on your back could make the option of running
seem more
that quickly seem like a good option, when in fact that's the thing that sets off law enforcement. If you start running immediately, of course they're going to think that's suspicious and come after you. Now you shouldn't be executed for running, but if indeed, yes, you had a gun, that makes another reason. I'm assuming maybe his gun wasn't registered correctly, like it does need to be in California, very strict, especially handgun rules in California.
Yeah.
So if you had the gun illegally, it would have given him another reason to run. And yes, of course, if you drop a weapon and then reach for it, again, I mean, that's going to put a target on your back no matter what.
Well, that's the thing. Why did he run? Number one. Number two, why did he have a gun on to begin with? I mean, maybe you can do that. That's fine.
Protect yourself in the streets, man.
Sure, but then why did you punch the cop? That's going to incite the cop even more.
That's another thing.
You don't punch the cop in the face.
I know. There's some unfortunate details to this that does not make it as clean of a story as I think Black Lives Matter activists would prefer.
I will say that, and I've mentioned this before, that police brutality is a problem. That that police can and do abuse their power at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that this is a situation where I don't know. Actually, I don't know the whole.
Well, that's
facts.
why we're not hearing so much about it.
But we're not hearing a lot about it because of who shot a black man in Los Angeles late Monday, a white Hispanic. When Twitter users asked him what race was white Hispanic was.
Yeah.
Typo. That's a typo right there. Others came forward explaining that white Hispanic was not a made-up term, but an actual ethnic identity. Oh, this gets really messy.
Well, this was the thing with George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Remember George Zimmerman? He shot Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
That was the issue with him. They kept calling him white, a white man, a white man, a white man. And he was this white Hispanic, which is actually, it's just, a light-skinned Hispanic person.
Right.
So it caused a bunch of issues.
Notice that inside the clothing item that Kizzy was carrying, that he had dropped.
Let me be clear. I'm not trying to defend George Zimmerman in any way. He is a total D-bag for a lot of reasons. Excuse my language. But yeah.
He dropped a black semi-automatic handgun, at which time a deputy-involved shooting occurred. The shooting triggered protests in LA where people gathered to condemn Kizzy's shooting. Nasheed took to Twitter to criticize the incident and said a white Hispanic race soldier shot a black man in the back today in Los Angeles and killed him. This happened in the Hoovers on 109 and Budlong. This is what Black and Brown. This is that Black and Brown coalition. Okay. And you can see there's a picture of the officer there. And so who is a white Hispanic? Twitter users slammed the 46-year-old producer, accusing him of stoking racial tension. Many even said that there was no such thing as a white Hispanic. However, others explained that there are Hispanics who identify themselves as white. It is crucial to understand that race and ethnicity are two different things, and Hispanic is an ethnicity. They can be blacks, whites, and Asians, according to the article here. Quote, Latinos have many different ways to describe their identity, including pan-ethnic terms like Hispanic or Latino, or the term American, or terms that refer to their family's country of origin. Their choice vary among different Latino subgroups, with nativity and language usage the strongest predicators of identity preference, Pew Research Center stated on its website. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, a Hispanic or Latino is a, quote, a person of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central American, or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race. In the 2010 U.S. Census, 53% of Hispanics said they identified themselves as white. Here are some messages on Twitter, and it has a few different posts and a few people who are consider themselves a white Hispanic, including
I'm wondering. I'm curious of what people who either identify or are identified as white Hispanics. I'd be interested in hearing more about that. Jay Vela in the chat, one of our prolific artists, I think mentioned something about being in that category. So I'd be curious to hear more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this debate is somewhat moot in the whole thing because it's the optics are not really what's going to carry on the national news level to stoke the flames of BLM. There's obviously going to be a BLM aspect to this, but of course, I think this producer here tweeting was trying to make it fit the narrative by calling him a white Hispanic. The article states that the Hispanic people will self-identify with different whatever. So he doesn't know that this officer identifies himself as white Hispanic. He looks more like a quintessential.
He does.
more like a
Mexican. Looks like a Hispanic guy.
Hispanic guy, yeah. So I don't know. And the other problem,
and you're in Southern California, you know.
Yeah, and the the race thing is pretty out of control. There was a commenter on YouTube, on my YouTube channel here, a couple videos ago when we talked about the whole race war issue, and he was basically saying that he's sick of hearing the conservative right wing view on the whole black crime, or crimes on black thing. And he called both of us, Basil. He called both of us white. He said white people. So I was I was like, well, I'm not white though. What does that mean? So he said, you act white, so you are white. And that was his accusation of me. And I was like, okay, if that's the logic, okay, if acting white is white, then all the black people in America speaking English are also white. Because English came from the Anglo-Saxon, the 1400s, whatever. The English came from the Euro, whatever. Sure. So if you're acting white, you speak English, you're acting white as well, using his logic. Okay. He didn't respond to me. Okay. But this is the problem with any kind of label of color of skin, of trying to create demographic labels based on the way people look. It's not going to work, and it's only part of the stoking of the flames of the New World Order system to get people all riled up, hating each other, division, divide and conquer. It's all part of it because, as believers, it's like, yeah, we kind of look different, but we're all, created in the image of God, and the whole reason why, part of the whole cross, what happened on the cross, and the tearing of the veil, and having Gentiles be grafted in, all that kind of stuff. No Jew, no Greek. None of that matters to these people at all. Even like the believers that are part of the whole cultural movement with this. But yeah, Adam42 in the chat. Gons, stop being white. Okay, I'll be less white. I'll be less white for you guys.
You know who I can guarantee is white?
Basil,
the Jetpack Man.
The Jetpack.
That is a white guy move.
Yeah, seems like all the robot people are white. What's up with that? Why are all
I don't know. Yeah, whoever becomes the first non-white person in mecha athletics, they're going to have a lot of sponsorship opportunities.
I'm almost for the whole
Nike.
Get Nike on board. Get all the Chinese children.
I cannot stop thinking about going to my mecha athlete training. I'm sorry. It's the only thing I've been thinking about for the past 45 minutes.
Objectivity does exist in the chat. Said, I used to hate white humans. No joke. The indoctrination is real.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, no. A lot of people are there, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of self-hatred with white people right now, too.
That is so weird to me. That part of it is very bizarre, too.
Yeah.
It creates, the whole thing causes issues, because then if you're like pro-white, then you're like, get labeled white supremacist, and it's just a mess. But anyway, this is the story that you probably won't hear in terms of national news because of the situation at hand. But, it's just one of those things that's brewing and is going to stoke.
Sorry, distracted looking at mecha athlete stuff. Yeah. How are we doing on time? Nope, we're coming to the end of the day, huh?
Let's do one more story. Let's save the California bill. Yeah, it's just a heavy story. So
just to give a little teaser, I'm trying to figure out a good way of talking about the SB 145 California bill that passed. Many of you have been sharing it or have seen it shared on Facebook. And there needs to be some clarification and breakdown. Still a very important thing, but I think it's most important to fully understand what the bill actually says. So you can have your facts straight when you're, talking to people about it. It is a very heavy subject, and it cannot be avoided to be using language that people don't enjoy listening to. So we're going to figure out a way, but we're not going to do it today. So don't worry.
We'll save it for the next one.
take a deep breath. Yes, we'll cover that on a different story, especially as things sort of develop. But instead, Gons, I got to bring you this other story from Vice.com. And do you ever feel like you're being watched?
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
The four horsemen of the technopolis.
Anytime you see the four horsemen, it's something.
Fact Checker Bot just asked us if we were going to talk about SB 145. Yes, we are. Later, though. Okay. Vice.com, the article is titled, Amazon is hiring an intelligence analyst to track labor organizing threats. And I wanted to do this story alongside the article about from robotics.news, talking about how Jeff's, dream come true is he wants to replace all of his employees with robots. But we'll save that for another time. The company, because robots can't unionize, The company recently posted, talking about Amazon, 2 job listings for analysts that can keep an eye on sensitive and confidential topics, quote, including labor organizing threats against the company. Amazon is looking to hire, quote, intelligence analyst and a senior intelligence analyst for its global security operations, global intelligence program, and the team that's responsible for physical and corporate security operations such as insider threats and industrial espionage. The job ads list several kinds of threats such as protests, geopolitical crises, conflicts impacting operations, but focus in one of the listings. Amazon has historically been hostile to workers attempting to form a union or organize any kind of collective action. Last year, an Amazon spokesperson accused unions of exploiting Prime Day to raise awareness to their cause and increase membership dues. Earlier this year, the company fired Christian Smalls, a black employee who led a protest at a fulfillment center in New York over Amazon's inadequate safety measures in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. During a meeting with Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, company executives discussed plans to smear Smalls, calling him, quote, not smart or articulate. Ooh, yikes.
Mean.
Yeah, racist. These job listings show Amazon sees labor organizing as one of the biggest threats to its existence. I will say that's not unique to Amazon. All of these big corporations find or think of labor organizing as the biggest threats to its existence. Because if you pay people, or do you know anything else about the company? We'd love to hear from you using a non-work phone or computer. You can contact Lorenzo Franceschi Bicciari securely on Signal at the number on Wicker. Okay, that's the person trying to organize things. After this story was published, Amazon deleted the job listings, and company spokesperson Maria Boschetti said in an email that, quote, the job post was not an accurate description of the role. It was made in error and has since been corrected. The spokesperson did not respond to follow-up questions about the alleged mistake. The job listing, according to Amazon's own job portal, had been up since January 6th, 2020. Interesting. Danya Rahendra, the director of the Athena Coalition, an alliance of dozens of grassroots labor groups that organize Amazon workers, criticized the listing. Quote, workers, especially black workers, have been telling us all for months that Amazon is targeting them for speaking out. This job description is proof that Amazon intends to continue on this course. Rahendra told Motherboard in a statement, quote, the public deserves to know whether Amazon will continue to fill these positions even if they're no longer publicly posted. On Monday, the Open Markets Institute, a nonprofit that studies monopolies, published a report on Amazon's employee surveillance efforts, claiming that these practices, quote, create a harsh and dehumanizing working environment that produces a constant state of fear, as well as physical and mental anguish. After a week of the jobs being posted online, 71 people have applied to the intelligence analyst position and 24 people to the senior intelligence analyst job, according to LinkedIn. The first job was posted in the Amazon jobs portal in January. The second job on July 21st, according to the company site. We have an update on September 1st. Shortly after the story was published, Amazon removed the listings from its job portal. And another update, the story was updated to include Amazon's comment. So, wow, those job listings have been up since January 6th, so 8 months. They weren't able to fill the position in 8 months.
Either that or they already filled it and they forgot to take it down.
Oh, or they just want to keep hiring more. Just because there's 2 listings doesn't mean they don't want to hire as many intelligence analysts as possible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this
crazy.
It's very interesting that they're looking to hire intelligence analysts. Obviously to track from within. Bezos, making sure that his people stay down, his workers are not going to rebel.
And that's an interesting situation because, I know people who are at the top of sort of some of these big corporations, obviously nothing as big as Amazon, but I understand the threat that organizing unions pose to the corporation itself. But, the problem is, people like to blame Bezos for a lot of stuff. And I do too. He's a blamable guy. I mean, just listen to his laugh. It's evil, man. It's evil. But the problem is these corporations are incentivized to keep prices as low as humanly possible. And you can only do that by paying your workers as little as humanly possible. And then, but there's a part of it where these corporations are go out of our way or not go out of our way, however the case may be, to get the lowest possible price with the most convenience too, unfortunately. And that's just how economics works.
Yeah.
If we all stopped ordering from Amazon because it's the cheapest and most convenient, then they would, have to raise their prices, which means they would, be more incentivized to pay people more, et cetera, et cetera. It's more complicated than that, but it's really a sickness of society that causes a lot of this stuff. That we seek out the lowest price and we don't care who it hurts for us to get the lowest price. So the consumer plays their own role in creating this system. But dang, it's hard to argue with how convenient and cheap Amazon labor. If you can live with the
yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, eventually he wants robots to replace everybody anyway. So this is just I'm sure that he's thinking that this is just a step in that direction. And,
I have a hard time understanding how he hasn't already done that. I've been inside of an Amazon warehouse. It looks like robots. It looks like it's already pretty much entirely staffed by robots. And of course, we've had some listeners who worked at Amazon warehouses and have confirmed that it is the worst possible job you can have.
Yeah. Yeah. We've heard that
it will kill. Oh, yeah. All right. Sounds good. People peeing in bottles, hiding it behind shelves because they can't take their break. All right. You got anything else for this show? We actually did okay on time today. That's nice.
A little shorter, but yeah, I think that's about it. I do want to say people did come in. Producers came in. We'll do a formal thank you on the next episode, but a quick shout out, Antonio, May, Nicole, Steven, and of course, Hannah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys.
So thank you guys so much.
In.
Very generous.
Yeah, we'll give you full producer credit next episode.
Yes. So look out for that.
But that makes us feel good. We don't have to sit here and bite our nails for a couple of days hoping some producers come in. So thank you very much. Okay, folks. Well, that's about it. Remember, you can still become a producer of the show. Head to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. Thank you so much. We cannot do the show without the continued support of our producers, and that means you guys. So thank you very much. We understand that the first of the month is a very difficult time financially. So those who come in and produce, we appreciate you just that much more. Now, remember, there's other ways to produce the show. You can create jingles, you can create art, you can create songs, all sorts of content that you hear on the show. If you make sure, if with the art and the jingles and the music, that it's Canary Cry Radio related, if we are very impressed with all of our talented people, but make something special for the show. We like all of your former work, but let's create something new. Again, Incarnate Unlimited, great job, buddy. Keep it going. And there you go. You can send all that kind of stuff to canarycryradio@gmail.com, and you can see or hear it on the next show, baby. Let's see. What else am I forgetting? Anything? No, I don't think so. Now, remember, leave ratings and reviews. Very important. Go to Apple Podcasts, search for Canary Cry Radio or Canary Cry News Talk, and leave a rating and review. Very important. Tells the robots, the algorithms, to share the show with other people. We have no control over how that works. It's all up to you, dear listeners. And if coming in as a financial producer isn't an option, leaving a rating and a review is a great way to help out the show. So we appreciate that very much, and we'll be reading ratings and reviews at the end of the week, if any come in. But here's the best thing. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the show, and it's a great way to wake the people up in your life. You got people waking up in your life. They're realizing the world is not what it seems, and they just don't know where to go from here. Canary Cry News Talk is a perfect, gentle way to be able to help them down the road of knowledge so they lack no knowledge, and catch them up with what's going on in the world. And we'd be happy to help them. All you got to do is send them an episode, share this episode. Remember, the podcast version of the show, it will be posted later today. That's an easy way to share the show. Go to any podcast catcher, find this episode. No buffering, no dropouts. Sound quality is perfecto, and that's a great way to listen to the show after the fact as well as share it. Just search Canary Cry News Talk on any podcast catcher. Share it that way. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, folks. Just ask Noah. Make sure to tune in again. That'll be this Friday, just 2 days from now. That'll be September 4th. So make sure to tune in Friday, September 4th. We'll be going live sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Put it on your calendar. Turn on notifications, and we'll catch you on the next live show of Canary Cry News Talk. But make sure to tune in next time. But until then, everybody, remember to think outside the cage.
Happy birthday to Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
And if anybody wants to send us Kusama, send us some Kusama.
I'm going to email the prosthetic mecha robot guy.
Perfect.
We'll put something together.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
You can't handle the truth!
Science is truth.
Stop this progress before it is too late!
It will kill.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone!
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see you about that?
Whatever, Illuminati.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.